And welcome to this coaching clinic, Finding True Love. So you might be looking for true love in relation to a romantic relationship, or you might be looking for true love in relation to a career, something that you'd love to do fresh, new, differently. It can be any direction with regards to love. And I really hope this clinic helps you today as I share just how I see it and what steps I engage when I'm wanting to call in more of a feeling of love, more of an experience of love. So thank you all for being here. And just remember, the coaching recording clinics are available on the YouTube channel. So I'm going to send a couple of links towards the end. I'll put those in the chat box. But I love to start these coaching clinics with a grounding exercise, something to help us really become present, to get the most out of anything we're going to experience or hear or listen to. So join with me as we close our eyes and just begin to take a few deep breaths. Just relax your shoulders and take a few deep breaths to the count of 4. In through the nose and out through the mouth for 4. So keep that rhythm going. In through the nose, 2, 3, 4, and out through the nose or the mouth, 2, 3, 4. Just begin to feel yourself present as you use the breath to bring you into this moment. Again, just moving to the count of 4 with the breath. In, 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. And setting intention now. You've made the time to be here. So setting intention now mentally for yourselves. What is it you want to get from attending today? And what is it that true love, finding true love, is about for you? Set your intention. See roots coming from your feet down through the ground, down into the underground, and right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth. Wrap those roots around that rock. This rock emanates golden light. See this light now trickling up through the roots, through the underground, through the ground, through the floorboards and into your feet. Watch as this beautiful golden elixir of light floods every cell of your body, moving up from the feet in your own time, all the way through the body. Let that golden light immerse and around you and support you. See it moving through every nook and cranny of the body. See it moving through every cell, every part, anywhere there's pain, anywhere there's inflexibility, stiffness. This light is the light of your true nature. Healthy, whole, well, complete. pure love. Basking in this feeling of your true self. There's nothing to fix in order for you to get what you want, to have what you deserve, to call in the type of love you're looking for, be that in another human or in a career or in yourself. Nothing to fix in order to get, to receive. Feel the certainty of that. Have faith in that. Lean on my faith around that for you. See this light covering all of you now. Just feel the weight of your body without any judgment. Just feel the weight of your body on the chair, on the sofa, in the bed. And the miracle of that, the fact that you can feel yourself just here now in this moment. And now seeing your heart area, just want you to imagine a love heart of any color that you choose. First one comes to mind. And within this love heart, see a beautiful lotus flower and see it opening up, vibrating almost, awakening. Feel any defenses falling away. Any ideas that you're not worthy of love falling, dissipating, dissolving away. Just see that heart and that lotus flower. And whether it's a relationship or a career, or it's just more love for yourself, and I don't say just lightly, imagine in front of you now that person, that career, that you, with again an incredible love heart and a lotus flower vibrating within it. You're both attracted to one another. You're both matched for one another. You're both a miracle of love for one another. And see a delicate cord coming from your heart and that lotus flower out to the heart and the lotus flower in that situation or that person or that image. And know that you're connected now, not later, not in 10 years' time, not when you do a certain amount of work on yourself, right now. And bringing your attention back to your body now, back to where you're sitting or lying, and back to the breath. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. See roots coming from your feet, down through the floorboards, down into the ground, down into the underground, and all the way down to that rock at the bottom of the earth, and wrap those roots around that rock. You're fully present here, ready to receive and to experience the true love that you deserve. So just take your time now, opening your eyes and coming back to this moment. Feel the beauty of what you've just allowed yourself to experience. And I'd love to open up with that piece about there's nothing for you to fix or unblock in order to have what you're desiring or searching for. So much of the personal development world is innocently fixated on self-improvement as a means to achieving, succeeding, receiving. I'd like to propose that self-improvement is optional. That who you are, your true self, is already ready. And that sometimes our busy mind is making it look like there's a lot more to be done in order to receive what we want. So the more you are in connection with this true self, this what I call spiritual self, the less you're going to be busying yourself with self-improvement and fixing. Your spiritual self is ready, is open, is alive. And the discipline here is in actually taking some time to connect with that, remind yourself that, be more in that feeling. That's the discipline versus fixing self. It's more a discipline of remembering self with a capital S. Luckily, you're not alone as you go in the direction of your spiritual self. You're not on your own as you go in the direction of receiving the love you're searching for. None of us are. But the way that we innocently effort in the world leaves our entire spiritual nature out of the picture and our entire spiritual team in the wings, watching with nothing much to do. when I first met Francesco, my true love, who's departed 2 years ago now from physical form, I remember being somewhat giddy with excitement at the prospect of meeting someone new and fresh. I've later come to see that that was my spiritual self ready. That was my spiritual nature infusing me with possibility, hopefulness, and direction. And today, celebrating 16 years since that initial meeting with Francesco, I remember getting to the airport in Stansted, and I was going to board a flight to go to Italy for the weekend, or for a week actually, for Easter. I'd been invited by a lovely family. And I remember this feeling, that feeling of something's occurring. I wasn't coming from a place of, oh my God, I don't have a man, this is terrible. Mind you, a guy had just broken up with me 3 days previously on the full moon. And I accepted that. And I see now that there was a clearance going on, letting go of the old, making way for the new. Well, 3 days later, I was giddy with excitement at the airport, and I didn't know why. But I was very clear after the ending of the last situation, that actually what I thought I wanted, rich city boys who could give me a nice life, wasn't what I really truly wanted. So having had all of that for a bit, my clarity, and I'm sharing with you here my step-by-step process, if you like, my clarity came really, really center, came really forward. And it occurred to me, oh, I just want a man that's going to show me a whole new world. I didn't know what that meant, but that's what came to me. I want to have fun with someone. I want to enjoy ourselves. And you know what? I really want to get on with my purpose, and hanging out trying to date all these other men in the city is really distracting me from my purpose. I was truthful with myself. I knew that in finding the one and getting everything in the one situation versus the many, many situations, I was going to be less distracted. That's how it looked to me. And that's exactly what occurred. So I got on that airplane that day. And I remember, as many of you have heard, walking up the aisle of that very narrow, low-cost airline. And I always sat at the front of the plane because I'm, you know, a bit nervous at times, but I would never sit at the back because apparently at the back, you know, you feel the turbulence more. But as I walked up the aisle, I passed Francesco, kind of looking, and walked on. And then I heard, turn around and sit there. Now that didn't make any sense to me. And it was almost like, where did that come from? True self, spiritual self. And miraculously, I had time to turn around and walk back and sit beside him. Very miraculously, because usually there's about 100 people behind you at that stage. And so I sat next to him. And there was a feeling of home. Now, some people have talked to me about soulmates. Some people have talked to me about kindred spirits. Maybe all of that. I just remember a feeling of real comfort, connection, home, no awkwardness. Familiarity is how I would describe it, a very quick familiarity. And we got talking, it was lovely. I pretended to be afraid. He pretended not to be. So he held my hand on takeoff. Little did I realize that he was the nervous flyer. It was only a long time later that it became really obvious that that's what was going on. But we happened to be on the same flight on the way back a week later, and we ended up meeting each other at the airport. And again, there was that feeling of home, familiarity, all of that. I didn't know where it was going to go. But I trusted that the feeling I was experiencing was enough, and that my spiritual self, wisdom had guided me, and life had put me on that airplane through an invitation by another family to have Easter with them in southern Italy. Life had put me there. It wasn't about me going out to find this person, find this love. Life had invited me, and that's how I ended up in that space. Now, if we look at that as a quote unquote process, what we see here is a couple of things. The first one being, when we lose something or someone, or something hasn't gone so well, we are presented with a very strong clarity of what we do want. So never be afraid when one door closes, because the next one's about to open. Now, my door took 3 days to open, not 3 years, not 3 decades. There's a reason that Christ was resurrected on the 3rd day. If we would let ourselves alone, we could clear everything within 3 days. We could have everything within that time frame. So we get back to the process. There was a trusting life in that door closing, not getting too down about it, not getting too, trusting life in that door closing with the last relationship, and awakening this amazing clarity of what I did want. So often what happens is when people get disappointed and they don't see the gift in things that fall away. They don't see the gift of clarity available. So you really want to see the gift of clarity that you have. The next step for me was, I was in communication with true self, spiritual self, what I also call spiritual team. I wasn't hanging around thinking I was going to figure this out on my own. I was literally like, okay, thank you very much. That didn't work out. Here's what I do want. You know, dear spiritual team, please send forward in divine timing this right next situation for me. Dear spiritual team, infuse my energy with possibility and hopefulness and faithfulness that what I'm looking for is right around the corner. Dear spiritual team, I am now living in a whole new world, experiencing a whole new life with a whole new man. Send it forth to me. There is something about inviting your spiritual team. Another word for that is your deeper true self, your bigger self. Inviting that energy in order for you to get out of the way. So we had clarity of step 1. We had spiritual team on our side, step 2. And step 3, we acknowledged the guidance when it came. Turn around and sit there. That was asking me to get out of my comfort zone. That was asking me to do something I didn't usually do. sometimes we miss our opportunity because we hear or see and we intellectualize it, so we don't follow through. So innocent. So when we're finding true love, there is power in being clear. You don't have to be so clear that it gets, you don't have to be so specific that you kind of rule out life's options for you. I see people doing that sometimes. They get so specific that, it's almost a form of control again, and they miss out on what life could be bringing them. But you want to be clear enough on the type of general direction you are looking for in this person or this career or this situation with yourself or this new home or this new location. You want to get in connection with your spiritual team. If that doesn't resonate with you, call it what you want. You want to get in connection with your spiritual self, your bigger self, the part of you that you kind of hand it over to, and you get out of the way, you relax. You just go about your life knowing that it's taken care of. And then you want to follow the guidance because it will present itself. It will present itself. And it'll be so matter of fact. It'll be so out of the blue sometimes. It won't challenge you to such a degree that you're scared, but it will maybe ask you to get out of your comfort zone a bit, like it did for me with the airplane. That's how I ended up with the love of my life for 14 years. And today, that love, that eternal love continues because I've simply invited Francesco's energy to be part of my spiritual team, spiritual self. I remember someone writing to me and saying, Francesco was my better conscience, Grace. When I wanted to do something really like to piss people off, he often stepped in and was my better conscience. Well, if they were good in this life, you can just imagine how much good they can infuse upon us from where they now stand. So there's an element here of just efforting way less towards what you're looking for and leaning way more on what's available to you. I often say to my clients, the desire is enough. Desire comes from the Latin desidere, from the Father is the translation. The desire is enough. And then we just end up adding a whole ton of effort on top of the desire. Then we wonder why we burn out or we don't want to do it anymore, or we're not finding what we want. Begin to trust in life. Life's heard your call. Life knows what you're going for. Your clarity really helps, but you don't have to be so clear that you narrow down life's beautiful options. Invite your spiritual self, get in connection with your spiritual self each day, whatever that takes. For me, I'm finding that more and more through my meditations, through exercise, through anything where I'm just present. And therefore open to the guidance, hearing the direction. Some of you will see direction. I get downloads in form of language. I hear words, turn around and sit there. But some of you might get your guidance another way. The thing is, you've been doing this all your life. It's so automatic to you. It's so natural to you. I'm just putting words to what is really going on and hopefully helping you feel a little more hopeful about what's possible and why it's not about fixing yourself. It's not about unblocking your money problem, love problem, relationship wounds. No. Your true self is perfect, whole, and complete. And your spiritual team within you and around you stands in the wings, orchestrating the meetings, the opportunities, the directions. The way I see it nowadays is that they can basically see everything going on, and just our feeling state just guides us towards that or away from it. In some cases, we're being moved away from situations. Doors are closing because they're supposed to be. So I'd love to open up now. Just what are you hearing? What question or comment might you have, if any? Anything that looks like a yeah, but to you. And you can either comment in the chat box or you can come on. And don't worry if there's nothing. So any question, any comment? Oh, sounds like my dog. Damien, did you want to come on? You're unmuted.
Sad. Good morning.
Hello, good to see
I
you.
heard maybe 10, 15 minutes of it. I kept losing you and you just came back on.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
connection was terrible. So the only thing I heard was giving yourself the space of losing one relationship and the space of, okay, so I'll go with, not looking for it, but what do you really want? What do you really want? Like you thought you wanted somebody in the city, but really you found somebody that was effortless.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so it was pretty funny because had a girl call me yesterday from my Facebook Live that I haven't seen in about 15 years, and I know her over 40 years. And what's funny is, she's somebody I would want to be with, but we talked for like, I think an hour and a half, 2 hours. So like with the Abraham thing, what do you want? And how is it effortless? There's a girl I knew who grew up, but there's some, it's an old ex-girlfriend of my brother's, but it's an old ex-wife of my friends that my brother stole from.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the point is, as you know, I would like somebody effortless that would be fun and easy. And this showed up, but it's just friendship, but it showed up. You'll understand this. Nobody else is raising their hand, so you'll understand this is pretty funny. So my wrestle with coaching is why would somebody pay me so much money? And I had a conversation with Dominic. Well, can you see yourself working with somebody worth 50 or $100 million? And I'm like, not really. Then it's like, oh yeah, I worked with somebody. I did work with somebody. So the joke is, her story is she's a nurse, and she was a nurse to the 1%, to the richest of the richest. And what settled me was, and this also settles with a relationship. She's, Damien, you ain't gonna believe this. They were so humble to be with somebody who's really real. People would kill to be with somebody who's really real, even if they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So maybe that goes with relationship. Why would this person want to be with me? I mean, I'm 64, starting over, sort of, kind of. So it's also with coaching or relationship. Maybe this is the question.
Well, there was a question in there. Why would this person want to be with me?
Okay.
Would they want to pay me these coaching clients? Like, you kind of got the same question going on in two areas.
You caught that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And
That's good.
you know what I want to say to that, Damien?
That's good.
There's more to life than thinking about yourself.
Okay.
Now, what I mean by that is,
Yeah.
listen to the innocence of you getting hooked on, why would they want to pay me? Why would they want to be with me? Like, that's not coming from your spiritual self. That is all Bob.
I need to be validated and accepted. I can hear those words.
Well, your spiritual self doesn't, your true self doesn't need.
Right.
But
That's what I meant.
But yeah, we're living in that. So you just want to catch that, like, oh, there I go again. I'm wanting to be accepted and validated. But you don't want to go down the rabbit hole of like really believing in that and then looking for that on the outside world through how much people pay you or how much they sleep with you. Like, there's something beyond you thinking about yourself. And that's what people are drawn to. This essence of you, this energy, this vibration, this vitality. Like, and you have such a gorgeous example in your friend, the nurse, saying, these top 1%, like they just wanted to be with people who are happy to pay people who were being real. You've got that, Damien. I see that in you every time you show up. I don't know if we've lost you, but you've got that. So honestly, friends, once we're in the story of us, that's where we start getting into trouble. Oh, I've got a self-worth issue. Oh, I got to fix myself. I've got to improve myself. So innocent. But honestly, you want to get off the subject of self with a small s. There's more to life than thinking about ourselves. And I'm speaking to myself here too. So let's see if Damien comes back in. I think we might have lost him. I've got some nice comments here. Thank you very much. I just love listening to you. I love the peaceful feeling. I'm sick and it feels good to have this peace. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you got to show up. That's great, Laura. Lauren, what struck me was not trying to improve, which is exhausting. Yeah. But rather connecting to your spirit more. Yeah. Do you have more suggestions on how to do that effortlessly, connecting to spirit and best self? Oh, and how do I get over the thought I need to be thinner for a hot guy to find me attractive? Well, thank you for your honesty there. I think we've all had that thought. I need to be thinner. Like, hopefully what I've just said about, as we're thinking about ourselves, we're innocently in the habit of diminishing our true self. And of course, we live in a world that has promoted the idea that how you look determines your value. I've come to see more and more that as we take care of our true self, as we get more interested in our spiritual essence, our thinking about ourselves and our looks quietens down. Because that's just where we're getting hooked by Bob, the drunk guy in our mind. He's the one that is on the end of every street corner, shouting obscenities, telling people how shit they are. He's out of his mind, but he's in your head every day, shouting the same crap. But just as you wouldn't go to a drunk on the end of the street for advice, you don't want to go to Bob either, especially about how you look, especially about whether or not you should be thinner. It's so innocent. But the space I want to point people to, and the space I'm pointing you to more and more, whether you coach with me or you come to the clinic or you come on the workshops, is the space beyond Bob. This true self, this spiritual self, this essence of who we are, that has clarity, that has self-esteem, that has everything she or he needs to receive now, not later, the desires of his or her heart. When you're in self-improvement, you are in fixing mode and you're trying to fix something that Bob keeps telling you. You can go on that path. I think it's where we all started. But that's not where the juice is. That's not where the transformation is. The transformation is you wake up from the level of noise that Bob is giving you about yourself, and you touch a space beyond that, your spiritual self, where you start to see everything you thought you believed about love, about career, about yourself, about money has no grip. It's just flavors of thought, flavors of thought, flavors of thought. When you get even half an inch of distance from that, your life is transformed. You're living a miracle. You're experiencing the miraculous. Fixing Bob's thinking about you will keep you in self-improvement and therapy for years to come. And there's nothing wrong with therapy. It's just that transformational coaching is where I'm at. Fixing thoughts that aren't your own, that are coming from the drunk in your head, isn't where it's at. So I'd like to propose, Lauren, that you being thinner for a hot guy to find you more attractive is optional. The hot guy can find you now. The hot guy can find you 3 days from now. The hot guy is right in within your reach, not because you're thinner and Bob's convincing you of that. And let's face it, if we all got thinner and then we get the hot guy, then we have to keep an eye constantly on staying thin because the guy came because we got thin in our belief system. Bullshit. innocent Bob bullshit. You know what really hit me in Francesco's passing? I got so insecure. I got so worried about how I looked and what I weighed and whether or not I was going to be able to go to bed with another man and what was going to happen to me. And oh my God, did Bob kick off, because I had placed my well-being on innocently on having a man who loved me the way I was. And once he left the scene physically, I just went totally into my head until I caught it. And I was like, Grace, wow, you just fell for it again. You just fell for Bob again. All of my behaviors, all of the way I was operating, all of the way I was spending money, all of it was being channeled to try and, deal with Bob's thinking about me, until I caught it. There is nothing more powerful than catching this. It changes your world. What happened for me then was it became optional for me what I did regarding my image, what I did regarding dating, what I did regarding, any putting myself out there. It all became more of a fun, optional game. And what was really even more interesting to me, because Bob had convinced me otherwise, was that the men I started to see were genuinely interested in me. So I'm currently with this lovely man. And I said to him, what attracted you? Because that's just the insecure place I was in at the time. And he said, oh, Grace, I read all of your writing on Facebook. And I said, I have to reach out to this woman because she's made me believe in love again. Nothing to do with my image, nothing to do with how I looked, nothing to do with. And I started to see, oh, men aren't always as shallow as me. Or as Bob would have me believe. There are people in this world that want to be with you because of your true spirit, because of yourself with a capital S. So let's really start to get a distinction between when we're having our spiritual self, our divine guidance talk to us, versus everything else that's going on in our head. Because everything else that's going on in our head, if we switched it to Chinese, we wouldn't know what it was saying, and our lives would be a lot easier. Lauren, you also just mentioned, do I have more suggestions on how to connect with spirit, or your spirit more? Connecting to spirit best and your best self effortlessly. I do, and I invite you to check out the upcoming webinar, workshop. I've just posted the link. On that workshop, Your Miraculous Life, harnessing your spiritual team for daily miracles. I am going to go into depth with regards how we can really be in the experience of our true self with the support of our spiritual team more of the time. So check out that event. If you'd love to come to us and come and be with us, there's still a few spaces, Saturday, April 15th. Let's see, there's a couple more going on here. I wonder how much to rely on life presenting itself. That's a good question. For example, if wanting to find a new relationship, online dating seems to be the main way to meet people, especially living in a tiny town. Well, I live in a tiny town, okay? And I haven't been on the online dating work piece. And the way I met Francesco wasn't online dating either. So really catch that belief. The whole world could be doing drugs. It doesn't mean that that's the only way to get high. Okay. So let the whole world go on the dating apps. It doesn't mean that that's the only way to meet someone. Okay. But it becomes like a job. Oh, Damien, we'll come back to you in a sec. So online dating seems to be the main way to meet people, especially living in a tiny town. That's a belief system. That's a belief. That's not a truth, but okay, keep going. But it becomes like a job and a little obsessive. Okay, so what I hear in that is it becomes effortful and like a job. So we don't like it. How do we draw the line between showing some effort and creating some opportunity, or forcing it, or just being lazy, or waiting for life? What if it doesn't present on its own? Oh, I love this. This is brilliant. I think this is okay, Miss Sinclair. So as I read your words, there's a couple of things. Just notice there, like the pendulum swing. I'm either doing nothing, or I'm being lazy and waiting for life, or I'm going to be efforting and doing a job called online dating and forcing things. Notice these two sides of the pendulum that are going on in your mind. That's Bob, by the way. There's a third option. There's never just option one or option two. Totally lazy, don't force it, don't do anything, or totally on it and forcing it and efforting. There's always a third option. And we discover that third option, that missing link, as we get out of the way. As we have a deeper faith and trust in life to support us, as we lean on our spiritual team to guide us. At the end of your question, you say, what if it doesn't present on its own? So listen to that worry. So innocent. Listen, what if it doesn't present on its own? I'd invite you to consider, however much you think you need to be in charge, there's even less for you to be in charge of. Life's got your back. The desire is enough. People don't believe me when I say that. The desire is enough. What you might want to consider is this a true desire? Many people that I work with tell me that they want to be out of their day jobs, and they want to be coaches, or they want to be in romantic relationships, or they want to be this, or they want to be that. But when we really get down to it, those aren't always true desires. Those are kind of help me get away and put out the fire where I currently am. So through this brilliant questioning, Miss Sinclair, I'd encourage you to look towards A, true desire, and B, a third option that you haven't considered yet that isn't related to the pendulum of on or off, all or nothing, job or bliss. And begin to get a bit more faith in life supporting your desire, life's inviting you, life presenting for you. If something feels like a job, an effort to find, even if the whole world's doing it, don't go there, because your efforts there will be wasted. If it feels like a job to go on an app and meet a guy, it's going to feel more of a job when you meet him. Because the energy infused in meeting him has been a job. Let him come to you. Let your desire be enough. Follow the process I shared earlier. Clarity, spiritual team, spiritual self, and following the guidance you get. Christy, you are so certain, so grounded, and so filled with intentionality. And this is such a wonderful energy and invite all the goodness in the spirit wants to give us. I want to cultivate more of this faithful expectancy. Christy, great. Come join us at the workshop. Saturday, April 15th, you'll cultivate way more faithful expectancy and your life will become miraculous as a result. The link is there for you all if you'd like to have a look. So I've got like just 2 minutes left at this point. Damien, I did continue to answer your question, so you might want to listen to the replay. I loved having your presence and your honesty. And just to reiterate from there, for everybody, because Damien brought it forward for all of us, you want to catch when you're putting your value on what you think about yourself. In other words,
right.
Because it came up again, you know, if I'm thinner, then the hot guy will want me. If I present myself the right way, the clients will pay.
Right.
So we want to catch that noise because we're thinking about ourselves as if that's where the juice is. It's not. If there's anything I can share with any of you today, it's like there's more to life than thinking about yourselves, ourselves. There's a spiritual team within and around you, awaiting to support you.
Right.
Get out of the way.
So let life match you, not you match you.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. I just caught that as you're saying it. That's good.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, everybody. I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to re-listen to the replay and join us on the workshop Saturday, April 15th. Your miraculous life will go way deeper and you'll experience the wholeness of you.
Is that a one-day workshop? Is that a one-day workshop? One day?
Yes. Here's the link again. It's really a half-day workshop and a replay. So
okay.
Delighted to see you all there. Lots of love, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.